Today, we are digging into a case that started out as a missing person report, but wow, did it spiral into one of the internet's most debated, most chilling mysteries, the death of Elisa Lam. Okay, so the whole thing really hinges on this one single piece of evidence. It's this chilling surveillance video from inside a hotel elevator. And this footage, this is what turned what could have been a standard case into a complete global obsession. So in this footage, which the LAPD released, you see 21-year-old Elisa Lam, and her behavior is just bizarre. She's pushing a whole bunch of buttons, she's darting in and out of the elevator, she looks like she's hiding from someone or something that we just can't see. For almost 4 minutes, the elevator doors just hang open, which is weird in itself. And then, just like that, she's gone. But to really get why this video went so viral, you have to understand the place where it was filmed. We're talking about the infamous Cecil Hotel. You know, Elisa was on this big solo adventure. She was documenting her whole trip up the West Coast, posting cheerful stuff on social media, calling her parents every single day. But her choice of where to stay in LA, the Cecil, was just a world away from the carefree trip she had in mind. Yeah, the Cecil wasn't just some budget hotel. I mean, this place had a dark, violent past. They literally nicknamed it the Suicide. It was a home base for Richard Ramirez, you know, the Night Stalker, who would supposedly just dump his bloody clothes in the hotel dumpster. And then, a few years later, another serial killer, Jack Underwaker, used his room there to murder prostitutes. The history is just chilling. So you take this really sinister history, you combine it with that strange, unsettling elevator video, and what do you get? You get a perfect storm for internet speculation and thousands of amateur detectives. And the footage just exploded online. We're talking tens of millions of views. Internet sleuths came up with every theory imaginable, from murder to some kind of paranormal encounter in this notoriously haunted hotel. But, you know, the idea that it could have been a mental health crisis? That was actually the least popular explanation. So while the internet was totally consumed with theories about ghosts and mysterious figures, a real-world search was going on. And that search came to a truly horrifying end, 19 days after Elisa disappeared. Weeks after Elisa went missing, guests at the Cecil started to complain. They were saying the water pressure was really low, the water looked dark, and it had this weird, foul taste. Then, on February 19th, a maintenance worker went up to the roof to check on these complaints. He climbs a ladder to the top of one of those big water cisterns, lifts the heavy lid, and makes an absolutely gruesome discovery. Elisa Lam's body was floating inside. This discovery honestly just made the mystery even deeper. How did she get onto a roof that had an alarmed door? How did she manage to get inside a water tank with a heavy sealed lid? And why was she naked, with her clothes found in the water next to her? These questions seem to defy any logical explanation, and they just fueled even wilder conspiracy theories. But while the internet was lost in this maze of supernatural theories, the coroner's office was focused on the science. And the forensic evidence, well, it painted a very different and ultimately a much more tragic picture. The real key to understanding what happened to Elisa Lam, it turns out, lies in her diagnosed medical condition, bipolar I disorder. This is a really severe form of the condition that, if it's not treated properly, can lead to psychosis, a state where a person can completely lose touch with reality. So Elisa's family confirmed that she had a history of not taking her medication, and when that happened in the past, it had led to hallucinations and episodes where she would hide from threats that weren't actually real. In fact, in the days right before she vanished, her roommates at the Cecil had complained about her odd behavior, which is why she was moved to a private room. Her actions in that elevator video were totally consistent with these past episodes. And then came the toxicology report, which was really the final tragic piece of the whole puzzle. It showed she had antidepressants in her system, but no antipsychotics, and only tiny trace amounts of her mood stabilizers. Now, for someone with bipolar 1, this specific combination is known to be a potential trigger for a really severe manic and psychotic episode. So all that strange behavior in the elevator, it wasn't a game. It wasn't a ghostly encounter. It was very likely a young woman in the grips of a terrifying psychotic episode, hiding from threats that only existed in her mind. Investigators concluded that in her distress, she probably fled to the roof, climbed into that water tank trying to find a safe place, and then tragically just couldn't get back out. But the story doesn't end there. Because while the official case was closed, the internet's obsession with a mystery had devastating real-world consequences for a completely innocent person. Online forums wrongfully decided that a death metal musician who goes by the stage name Morbid was their prime suspect. And the evidence? It was flimsy, to say the least. He had stayed at the Cecil Hotel once, and his artistic style was dark. For some people, that was enough. The online harassment just snowballed into a global witch hunt. He was getting death threats every single day. And the man they were accusing, Pablo Vergara, was actually in Mexico when Elisa died. The relentless cyberbullying and the false accusations got so severe that they drove him to attempt suicide. It's just a stark, tragic reminder of the danger of turning a real human tragedy into entertainment. So ultimately, the case of Elisa Lam forces us all to confront a really difficult question. Are we more drawn to a sensational mystery than we are to the painful human reality of mental illness? Her story isn't just some spooky internet legend. It's a heartbreaking account of a young woman's struggle, and it's a cautionary tale about searching for truth in an age where online speculation can have absolutely devastating consequences.